What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. All right, guys. No, I'm not wearing a tie-dye shirt, by the way. I'm not in my hippie phase or anything. I'm not that old. I'm 40, but I mean, we're getting there. But this is my Jujutsu Kaisen shirt. Yeah, that's right. So my wife likes to think I'm a nerd because I wear anime shirts in the house. Only in the house, so when I go out, it's pure professionalism. Anyways, let's not get sidetracked of why I'm here. For all you free-to-play players out there, for all you pay-to-win players out there, for all you new players, old players, veteran players, it doesn't matter who you are, I'm going to give you guys a little piece of advice. And this is based on my own thoughts and testing and just gotcha experience. I'm going to do a video here that's going to recommend long-term investments that are safe, current investments that are the best, but might not be safe. Okay? And I'm going to explain to you guys why I think this, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what I'm referring to, okay? So we're going to talk about units and we're going to talk about weapons. Those are the main things that I'm referring to. So a lot of people have been asking, hey, Payne, what's a good investment? Because, you know, gold is a problem for every player, unless you're pay to win like me, like in this account, right? My free-to-play account, I'm always broke. I'm broke. I'm like the king of bum fights outside. But for my pay-to-win account, I've got plenty of gold, and I do this for a reason because I want to test and I want to give you guys the most proper information I possibly can. I'm human. I make errors. It happens. You know what? And if I make errors, I'll own up to it. If you have better opinions, I'll always give you the credit and I'll present it, right? Like I did with T.Y. Powell with Westwind. So shout out to him again. And let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about one of those items that we just referred to, and that is weapons. Okay, so weapons, long-term, short-term investments, which ones are going to be safe and which ones are currently the best weapons but might not be safe in the future, and I'll explain what I'm talking about real quick, okay? And again, this is just my thoughts, my opinions. The safe part I'm pretty sure I'm okay with. So first off, the Shadow Scythe. Pure safety. Pure long-term. This should be one weapon that everybody is going to be focusing on and should be focusing on because it is one of the best and most easily acquirable weapons in the game. Okay, and what do I mean by this? Well, if you guys are aware, if you're not aware, you're about to find out that this weapon is actually free once you start going through the challenge mode, right? You can see here, Chapter 12 challenge, you actually get a free copy of it, and Chapter 9 challenge, you actually get a free copy of it. So you're going to get an A1 copy of this weapon no matter what you do. Now, the safety, of course, comes in the fact that when you get A1, when you go below 70% HP, you will get yourself a critical hit rate of 25% increase permanently as long as you stay with below 70% HP and below. And that's going to happen throughout the whole fight. So this is by far one of the best investments you can make in the game because Dark is actually one of those elements that are used throughout the entire thing, whether you're fighting Igris in the instance farming, whether you're fighting chapters or specific mobs that are dark or fighting the dragon. Dark elements are all over the place, and this is going to be one of your best dark weapons. Now, if you happen to ever get it as a whale to A5, you're cooking even more, increasing damage taken by 15%, but you also increase your attack by 15%. So this is going to increase your overall DPS, even as a secondary weapon to a regular weapon, okay? So this is a safe bet for sure. You're not going to have any problems with this. I don't think they're ever going to nerf this. This is a fairly balanced weapon with a lot of DPS and, again, easily acquirable. So this is a good long-term investment. Free to play or pay to win. It doesn't matter which one you go, okay? Next one, the Plum Sword. Yeah, absolutely. Great investment. Great long-term investment. First off, it does require you to be a little bit more crit build because it does increase crit hit damage, right, by 12%. So you are going to want to do a little bit more crit. So roughly about 50% cap with this one. And then obviously get more crit gear. So like toughness outfit, for example. And then the B set will help you out even more with damage on this one. And then you can see here Full Bloom also increases the attack and critical hit rate as well by 4%. So these are all things that you definitely want. So A1 even amplifies it further, increases the chance of a user landing a crit hit on the next attack by 32%, increases the skill damage by 32%. So the further you go into this, the more powerful this becomes. And again, being a dark weapon, it is going to be desirable against a lot of instance bosses and regular story mode. So this is a absolute safe bet. And then two other ones here that I highly recommend. The Grimoire is a no-brainer. No-brainer. One of the best CCs in the game. Quick cast, long range, multiple enemies, can do erosion. Erosion allows you to do more damage on opponents, and as you increase that, you can see here 24% more damage for weakness damage. And then as you keep going here, and if you ever decide to get it further to A5, I'm almost there, the increase to damage dealt to frozen targets are by 50%. So you can do a lot of damage, not only by crowd controlling, which is what CC stands for, not content creator, crowd control. You can also use this as a way to do a lot more DPS, especially when you're attacking weakened units or units that are frozen. Combine those two, you're getting yourself a crazy debuffing weapon with a lot of potential firepower. So these three are going to be the best, I think, in my opinion. Two other honorable mentions, of course, is going to be the Demon King's Grimoire. Great weapon. A lot of people wonder why I put it lower than everybody, the top 3 here. It's only because of the counter. The only reason why, because you need a skill level to understand how to counter. You need to understand the timing. You need to understand what mobs are going to do before they do it in order to set up a proper counter. Now I've used this weapon a lot. You guys can see it's level 80. This was my first SSR in the game, and I have counter down like it's the back of my hand, but not a lot of players do. Now with that being said, though, if you ever were to get it to A3 here, when using lightning inflicts a storm effect regardless of successful counter, this A3 takes away the counter effect to make more DPS happen. This catapults it to SS, okay? So these 4 are going to be safe. The 5th one here is also a very good weapon, the Huntsman. It's the only weapon that I know that's an SSR that can actually break as well, and the break effects are really, really strong, and it has a pretty wide AoE up close, so you can actually take out a few units fairly quickly, plus not to mention the destroy option, or the buff is really good, increasing damage taken by 8% on the opponents. You'll see this little debuff on them, and then of course light damage increase, and then when the first attack on Judgment Time hits, it applies the halt effect to the target. This skill interrupts the target's duration, so whatever they're casting gets interrupted. They just pretty much stop doing that cast. So very, very strong. You can see here A5 destroy effect changes, increases damage taken by 16%. It gets stacked up to 99 times. This actually ends up becoming the best weapon for debuffing in the game because of the amount of times you can do destroy, and it's pretty wild. Okay, so it's pretty wild. So if a target is in break state while the Sunder effect is active, inflict destroy effect instead. So as long as you cause the break state and they're in that state permanently, you're going to just keep stacking these destroys as much as you possibly can. So these SSR guys, these ones here, are the safest bet to invest in. Okay, you're going to have no problem. These are long-term weapons that I don't think they're ever going to touch. If they ever do, they'll buff them. I don't think they're ever going to nuke them in any way or nerf them in any way. So these 5 are going to be top tier. I'd say the top tier are these 3 up top, and then these 2 are one rung below for those. Now, the current best ones, it's a different story. Now, some of these will still apply, of course, right? But there's some SR weapons here that are out of control good. Like, we're talking about stupid good. So let's talk about a couple of these, not in any order, but we talked about Westwind already. Westwind is the hardest hitting weapon in the game, bar none. There's nothing in this game that hits harder. As a matter of fact, my Westwind hits harder than my ultimates. It's crazy, and you can do them so damn often. So Westwind, the way it works is whenever you do Secret Bullet, which is the actual skill, if you're, as long as there's a little green circle around you when you cast it, and you'll see it in any of my videos that has Westwind in it, as long as the opponents are not within that circle, you increase your damage by 75% with this weapon. Once you go to A1, it goes up to 160% on that weapon. So you're now doing double the damage that you were doing before. Not to mention you increase the wind damage here, and this weapon, you don't need elemental weakness. It's just strong against anything, right? But in case you are fighting elemental weakness, well, now you're adding more damage to it. And then when you go to A3, Secret Bullet hits, it applies the West Wind effect, increases the damage of Secret Bullet by 30%, stacking up to 5 times. You'll see this little icon on your buff with the number 5. The moment you see that, guys, it's game over. You're hitting things so effing hard. As long as you don't miss anybody, you're going to be killing things every friggin' second. It's wild. And then here you can decrease the cooldown of Secret Bullet by 15%. And then when landing a critical hit with Secret Bullet, decrease the cooldown by 9%. So Secret Bullet, by the way, does 1,138% with 15-second cooldown. It becomes 14 seconds once you do the A4, sorry, and then A5. If you get a crit, it goes down to like nothing, like 3 seconds. You can just spam it pretty much. Strongest weapon in the game, bar none. Bar none. Now, it's a current amazing investment. The best investment you can probably make right now in this game is this weapon right now. Why do I say current though? Well, simply because when they get a hold of it, not because of my videos, but guys, I don't have that kind of pull. I know a lot of people think that for some odd reason Netmarble watches me and I'm helping them nerf things. That's not how it's going to work. The way this works is when you use these weapons in the Battle of Time or the Dragon fights, you get recorded with the weapons and they record your number. It's a data send to the actual team, and they see what people are using to finish this content. If there's no cheating involved, well, they're like, okay, well, this weapon is being used all the time and it's the fastest runs. There must be something we got to do about this. So you may see a possible nerf to this weapon because it's actually stronger than any SSR weapon out there. Period. There's nothing like it out there. So Westwind for sure, the best current investment you can make, especially if you get it to A3 in the game, by far, hardest hitting weapon, easily. Like, I've done 1 million damage with this weapon, and my ultimate's max was 700 something. So, like, and I have to cast my ultimate every few, I don't know, 40 seconds. This gets cast every like 13 to 1 second. So keep that in mind. Now, another one that's really, really popular and extremely powerful is going to be the Orb of Avarice. I will do an actual showcase on this weapon because it needs to be done. A lot of people don't know much about it, but it's so powerful, guys. So this weapon here pretty much vacuums people into a little thing and blows them up twice. It does crazy damage, increases damage of Purgatory by 50%, and increases MP consumption. It is an MP eater, but that's not that big of a deal. If you do build intelligence and strength with this instead of agility, it actually works super well, by the way. This is one of the only weapons that intelligence actually works really well with. When the user enters the stage, applies 20 stacks of Rage of Flame, and then increases the cooldown of Purgatory by 5 seconds. Your stacks, guys, increases damage of Purgatory by 8%. Yeah, every time you cast it, it takes away 4 stacks, but you end up with 20 of them. Now, as you go further down, it does more fire damage, recover MP equal to Rage of Flames every 3 seconds, so you can recover a lot of MP, decreases the cooldown, and then this is the crazy one. When you enter, instead of getting 20 stacks, you get 30 stacks. So 30 stacks with 8% per stack, giving you insane amount of firepower from the beginning. This weapon is insane. The best fire weapon in the game, in my opinion, by far. There's like maybe the Grimoire, the Fire Grimoire is very close, but this one actually still, I think, takes the cake. So this is also another one where I could see them looking at it and being like, shit, this is doing way too much damage. We may need to nerf it. So very good investment now, maybe a possible nerf in the future. Possible. Okay, I'm just giving, because a lot of people ask me to do this. I'm just giving you guys my explanations on what I think. This bow is an incredible safe investment. I don't think it's going to be nerfed though. This is one of those weapons that you actually need to build over time. I think it's very fair. It's stronger than most of the SSR weapons out there, and also has a incredibly good stun. And plus, every time you do a stun on the opponent, you increase the damage of all attacks by 25% to that opponent as well too. So having any form of stun, including this, you're doing insane amounts of damage. Not to mention the Flash of Light also ignores defense by 50%, and Flash of Light penetrates the target, increasing the user's damage by 4%, can stack up to 20 times. This is a crazy weapon, guys. So this is another really good investment. I actually don't think they're going to nerf this one. I think it's weaker than the... you know what? No, I take that back. These two are the Westwind and this are the strongest weapons. I'd say Orb is probably the third strongest. But I think Orb is more powerful because of how much AoE it offers. It's the best AoE weapon versus, you know, single target slash a little bit of AoE if they're in a straight line, or just in a cone because of your initial hit with the bow. And then this one here is just bonkers. So those are the 3 best investments I can make suggestion wise for you guys in regards to the best SSR weapons, or sorry, SR weapons. Honorable mentions, again, there are a couple of them. The Demon Knight Spear is incredible. The Blackhawk is a lot of fun. The Kasaka Blades are still very strong, especially with non-world boss opponents, which only is the Dragon at the moment. But if you're looking for the best of the best, these 3 here are going to cover you for quite some time. Now, if you're looking for a good ice weapon, and I know I haven't mentioned it, this is actually probably the best ice weapon, the Naga Guardian Trident. This one's also really good. Obviously, the Kasaka Blades, I did just mention it. But if you're going to go between the 2 of them, I'd say this one here is better still. But Kasaka Bleed is so damn good. Plus, if you get it down even further, it does more core damage with, sorry, not more core damage. There's a chance that core damage is paralyzed with interrupt skills. And also you have the ability to do Kasaka's Venom, which puts poison on the ground, which does more damage to the opponent. I think poison is 30% of your attack on the opponent. And then also right over here, you can see here that also you have the ability to reduce the healing effects of that target by 70%. So extremely strong if you can get it to A5. But this is a safe investment. I don't think they're ever going to touch Kasaka Blades. These are, I would say this is a good long-term investment. And I would say also the Demon Knight Spear and the Naga Guardian Dragon's Trident is also really good. Now, if you have more questions about a lot of these weapons, I have a tier list out. I just want to give you guys some of the best ideas in terms of the best investments you can make now versus long-term. Again, top 3 right here. Okay? Bow, Sniper, Orb. You're safe right now. You're safe. Those weapons will take you so damn far. Okay, if they ever decide to nerf it. If not, you're golden. You're using the top 3 SR weapons in the game. Top SSR weapons, the top 3 up here, and then honorable mentions are these 2 over here. Okay, so there you guys go. Those are the investments I will put into characters. We're not going to do today. I'll do that on a different video maybe. For now, this is it. This is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.